What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Destiny. In the last episode, we completed the Ascendant Challenge here in the Dreaming City on week 1 of the Week Curse. We also took care of the Bay of Drowned Wishes Lost Sector, did the Rift Generator public event, and in this episode, we're going to be heading on into the next Lost Sector, down this way here in the Strand. This one is called Aphelion's Rest, and it is a very short Lost Sector, so a very simple one for us to start today's episode with. I've got 2 weapons that I have switched to this time around. We got my Le Monarch bow, which I grabbed with the Forsaken Cipher, and we have Reckless Endangerment, which is a stasis submachine gun that can only be gotten from the Vanguard. Now, this bow, I just want to show this thing in action really quickly. The key to using this bow is to shoot just as the glow basically fully shines, and you need to do it fast, otherwise you don't get the perfect draw. You can see right there, it causes a poison explosion that damages everything around it over time as long as you get the precision shot. Very, very powerful weapon, and it's even really good on like higher level enemies. So got that insane range. The only downside I can really give to this weapon is that it doesn't shoot ridiculously fast, but I mean, it's a bow. It's a high damage, slow firing weapon. That's kind of the point of it. This weapon is ridiculously good. In my opinion, the best exotic, the best benign exotic in the entire game, and I'm not even kidding when I say that, because it's so deceptively good. Like, look at that. I was able to one-shot that captain with this thing, which those are usually a higher level shielded enemy. It's just ridiculous how much they actually do here. So, like, let's damage those phalanxes a little bit. Look at that. Orange bar phalanx is going down like it's absolutely nothing. These scions, absolutely no chance whatsoever. You just have to find a cadence for your shots as you go. Take them out like that. But we have this bow here. We have this submachine gun. This one has a Frenzy and Grave Robber on it. Frenzy is a new perk that basically just activates with sustained damage over time. And then I believe gives a 15% damage buff. And the longer that you're shooting things with it, the longer you keep it active. The Grave Robber basically just refills the magazine upon a melee kill. It's very, very simple. So, we got this guy here. He's actually shooting out stasis, which I forgot that they gave that to him because stasis was not a thing when Forsaken came out. But yeah, they gave this guy stasis. So we're going to just kill this boss really quickly. Super simple. After he dies, there are going to be some enemies that start to spawn in. I'm just going to super that whole area so that nobody can get past it. He dropped a couple of weapons and things like that. All those scions are getting zapped. And we can open up this chest. That's the whole Lost Sector. Super simple. Very, very simple. But when we get to the Ascendant Challenge portal is actually going to spawn right about there, right in the middle of the air where I shot that arrow. Very, very simple. So let's get out of here. That's the easiest Lost Sector in the entire Dreaming City. Then we're going to move on to the Chamber of Starlight over in the other area that I'm forgetting. Rhea Sylvia, thank you. Thank you, Brain. Thank you for reminding me. So out we go. Oh, there's so much to be discussed. It's kind of crazy. Well, let's take a look at that Corsair down that we actually got at the end of the last episode. So the field comm device crackles weakly. You can just hear an encoded SOS repeating something. But oh, I wasn't expecting that. It's actually in here. Okay, you know what? So actually, before we leave this place, let's do this really quickly. I wasn't expecting that. The Corsair Down is another quest that can be gotten off the Scorn. It occasionally will drop, and it will give you a marker that it's dropped. That will point you to a specific location. And in this specific location, there is going to be a dead awoken Corsair, one of Petra Venge's soldiers. They dress similar to her, but they usually have a helmet on. She does not. We need to find this particular Corsair, and we need to activate them, and this will begin the quest. It'll all make sense in a minute, but I got to remember exactly where their body is. I actually think it might be... Is it further up ahead? I honestly don't remember exactly where they are. Okay, here we are. So you have to get pretty darn close to them to actually get the marker. So you'd have to do a little bit of searching around. There's actually many potential locations that they can spawn in. So I just had to kind of go through all of them systematically. This is the 3rd location, so I was able to get it pretty quickly. But let's inspect the body first. And with that... what's going to happen next? Aha! We have enemies that are going to spawn in. So when the Corsair died, the Corsair dropped a badge, and that badge is what we were trying to collect, but we need to actually kill the Scorn to get it. There you get the Corsair badge. Now you need to take this badge to the living groups of Corsairs that are actually around the Dreaming City. Now, there's, I believe, a group in the in Rhea Silvia and the Devalian Myths, but I don't think there's one in the Strand. So I think we can get it to either one of those, but we're going to want to take that. It's not a super major reward. I think we just get like a bit of glimmer for it and maybe a blue weapon, but not really anything so super special. So I wouldn't honestly worry about that too much. It's just something that you can kind of do from time to time. Personally, I tend to just delete the Corsair downs as soon as I get them because they just take up more inventory space than they're worth. But they are another activity you can, I mean, I guess you can do. You can kill a little group of enemies for a bit of glimmer or something along those lines. All right. Is that the high value target? No, it is not. Okay, well, I wasn't sure. There's a little tooltip in the bottom that's telling me about a high value target. I wasn't sure if it was that. All right, let's head on up now to Rhea Silvia, and we can show the third and final patrol area of the game. You can access it from either the Strand or the Devalian Mists. This whole place is shaped like a big triangle. But there's actually quite a lot to the Dreaming City that is not immediately obvious, and there are some actual interesting little quests that you can get here as well, some radiant quests and things that actually tend to happen randomly that are actually pretty darn cool. So it looks like these enemies are fighting each other. I'm going to kind of stay out of that just because that can get a little bit much after a while. But this is Rhea Silvia. Rhea Silvia leads all the way up to this, which goes straight into the Awoken Palace. It's how you get all the way to that. The Watchtower, it's all the way through there. You probably remember going through the Watchtower in Nothing Left to Say, and it was also visible in the Awakening mission. Now, if we head down here, we're going to want to basically go to where those two people are at. You can see their name tags. They're both kind of sitting there in menus at the moment. Probably because, if I'm to guess, I could be wrong, but if I'm to guess, this might be one of the high difficulty lost sectors. No, it's not actually. Wow, I'm a little surprised. I should explain that. So lost sectors, they have since added what are known as Legend and Master difficulty lost sectors. These are rotational, repeatable lost sectors that there's always two a day. Well, I guess there's always one a day. There's one lost sector that can be accessed that's either Legend or Master. And this lost sector will drop a very specific rewards that you can't get from any other means, only if you do them solo, which is obviously quite a big caveat because at those high difficulties, things can get a little bit crazy. Now, we're not going to actually be doing any of these lost sectors until probably around the time I cover Beyond Light, because that's when they were introduced. So bear with me. It's going to be a little while before we get into those because they have these very specific mechanics that I don't want to explain until we get to that point that revolve all around things like champions and all this additional stuff that you don't need to worry about right now. But I felt like I owed you guys an explanation at least a little bit because, well, I mentioned it. So, all right, Chamber of Starlight. Lots of taken in this one. Let's take them out with that really quickly. And we got a whole bunch more enemies in here. It's funny because the boss actually doesn't spawn where you think they are. They're not actually over by the chest, but they're actually over this way. And really quickly, if I can get rid of these guys' eyes. No, get out of here. Stupid thing. No more of those eyes, please. Thank you. Let's kill these hobgoblins. So the actual boss of this lost sector is actually over here. Right here. The Disciple of Curia. And we'll have to talk about Curia a little bit later because Curia is a very interesting character in the Destiny story that unfortunately we're never going to get to meet. And it's because we had our whole storyline with Curia in a piece of story content that is kind of no longer in the game. That's not to say you guys are missing much, because you're kind of not, but it is still something that is worth mentioning. There's a lot of story discussion I'm going to have to go into over the course of this series that you'll just have to kind of bear with me. But we got a lot of time to go over it all. So let's start by killing this knight so we can actually get on over to this lost sector. And if you want to know where the portal for the Ascendant Challenge in this lost sector is, it's right up there on that cliff. Right about there where I shot is where that portal will spawn. And there we go, another lost sector looted. That's all of the lost sectors here in the Dreaming City. And that is going to be it for this episode. Guys, thank you all so very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Destiny. I hope you all enjoyed it very much. In the next episode, we are going to go into the discussion on the blind well. By the way, this right here, is a secret chest. These can only ever be found while you are ascendant. Otherwise, they just will not appear. The platforms and the chests themselves. They're all over the Dreaming City. I'm not going to be giving a guide on how to get all of them because there's way too many to count, but they can be occasionally gotten while you have a tincture active. But yeah, next episode, we're going to go into the blind well. We're going to discuss the blind well and how it works. Going to do a couple of runs of it and move on from there. Obviously, I am going to need to get myself that one quest from Petra that we weren't able to get before because we didn't have enough dark fragments then, but I believe now we do. So yeah, we'll be doing that next time. Guys, thank you all so very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this episode very much, and I will see you all in the next one.